Hello everyone, welcome back to Heaps Good, where we're deciding if the first Iron Man movie 2008 is still heaps good or if it's heaps bad. Sort of in response to the idea that Doomsday is coming out at the end of this year. And so me and my lovely co-host Lennon, he's dressed here in a nice little skirt, he's looking very flirty at me.
I am.
Yeah, so hot.
I feel very sexy.
We've decided to go back, and you know, the last couple phases of the MCU has got some flack, and we both sort of went, let's revisit straight from the start of release order. Let's go through the Infinity Saga and just see if it's all what we remember. Are you excited to...
The golden era,
Yeah,
if you will.
I mean, it's fallen off arguably since then, varying moments of quality. Let's see if this is as good as we remember. So obviously...
Floating CGI heads.
What was that, Love and Thunder? That was Love and Thunder you're talking about.
Weird relationships with your hammer. Yeah.
That was my favorite movie. But yeah, we going back to where it all started. This is obviously from a studio that was edging bankruptcy. We also have a actor, Robert Downey Jr., who was edging jail. So this really was cobbled together. And Iron Man himself is not a A-tier hero.
Oh, he's a mess of a bloke.
Yeah. Oh no, I just mean in terms of like comics, everything. He's not like.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. You know, that kind of surprises me though, because I feel like growing up, I used to see like cartoons or whatever of the Avengers, and I thought that they were a much bigger deal than what they supposedly are. But any, I don't know, comic expert or anyone online is basically like, oh yeah, you know, the Avengers, like, you know, Thor, Iron Man, Captain America, all these characters are like super just B-tier characters, and I thought they were a big deal. I didn't realize how, I don't know.
I mean, since the MCU, yeah, bro, 100%. But like,
sure,
I mean, going back, it was about X-Men, Spider-Man, individual characters. Like the Justice League for DC was big, but the Avengers were never quite their Justice League until these movies started coming out.
They're about the same caliber as that one guy from X-Men 3, The Last Stand, or whatever that horrible movie is called. And
the Pinecone Man, the Porcupine Man. Porcupine.
That guy. Yeah.
Horrible powers. What's the point? Give up.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, no, they did have big parts to play in any like big crossover thing, but like, to be honest, it was a rotating roster of just like, let's try to make this character popular. And that's sort of how these movies came about. John Favreau really scraping the bottom of the barrel and just going, hey, let's just make an Iron Man movie. It's the only character we still have rights to at this point.
Well, I just love that this movie, and I feel like it is such a massive creative swing, and I just love to see when they knock it out of the park with this movie. I think just right out the gate, I think it's just fucking amazing what they did with this movie, considering that this style of comic book movie, arguably maybe with like Batman Begins a couple of years earlier, but even then, I feel like this style of comic book movie wasn't really something that was done at the time. I don't know. What do you think?
I want you to elaborate. What do you mean wasn't done?
So I feel like a lot of them were a little bit like goofy or intentional. You know, there's
afraid of their source material
or whatever. Well, I would even say that they tried to be a little bit too loyal to the source material to make everything on the screen look a little bit comic booky or as if it came out of a comic book
I'm talking about Ang Lee's Hulk.
I'm thinking of like this. Yeah, well, I'm thinking, exactly. Like Ang Lee's Hulk, the Spider-Man trilogy from Sam Raimi. Like a lot of those movies, I feel like were a little bit goofy intentionally, where this one felt like it was trying to, as you know, cringe and cliche as it is, Iron Man 1 really was trying to kick off this trend of like, hey, we're going to create this Marvel universe which is based in reality. Like everything that you're seeing on screen, you could kind of imagine that it could happen in real life. And I thought that was really cool.
I think there's sort of two truths to that. I don't think you're 100% like wrong with that. I do still think that John Favreau, I don't think you're wrong. I just think you're an idiot and you shouldn't really have a platform to talk about this. But no. Okay. I think, yes, you're right. It's not as campy, but like there's a lot of comic book material that isn't campy. Like I think, yes, they're trying to go this super realistic route, obviously probably spawned on from the darker universes of like Batman Begins and blah, 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 blah. But at the same token, I don't think that this movie is scared of at all of what Iron Man is. It's very like extremist comic book arc, like dark, dealing with like Tony's weapons infrastructure and how that involves itself in the Middle East. But I don't think there's any moment where the movie itself goes, I'm embarrassed that this weapons manufacturer has created a ridiculous suit of armor and he's going around blowing up stuff in the Middle East. And then his not protege, what do we call the opposite of a protege? Obadiah Stane also created a bigger suit of armor and now they're fighting. None of those beats are embarrassed.
Like a mentor?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Only about 20 seconds too late there. But
at the end of the podcast, you meant mentor before, idiot.
You meant mentor, right?
But, you know, like none of those things for me bode that they're afraid of the source material, which I like.
No, and you know what? Speaking of this movie and just not being afraid, how about Jeff Bridges on a Segway? Smoking a cigar. Like, he's just like, you know what? I'm not embarrassed about this at all. This is what peak alpha male looks like.
That is the peak male build. I do love this. Jeff Bridges in this movie knocks it out of the park with every single, because like because Jeff Bridges, he was a bit freaked out making this movie, because while we're talking about bravery, because a lot of this movie was improvisational. Like they did this without a completed script. Yeah, RDJ had cue cards behind his glasses for the Jericho missile scene, but like Jeff Bridges has gone on record and saying like, I don't know what the fuck was happening. How amazing a performance he put together, given he was constantly scared. Scared of doing this film. I think Jeff Bridges is a highlight in this movie for me. I think
he was a lot better than I remember, because I remember his villainous bad guy being kind of forgettable, and I just thought, oh yeah, he's just like a whatever bad guy. But I think his performance is great, and I honestly think that pretty much everyone in this movie is cast very well. I don't think there's really anyone in this movie that's out of place. Like even what's his face, the Rhodey, Terrence Howard. Like, I mean, even Terrence Howard as Rhodey, even though he gets replaced almost immediately, even he's amazing in this movie.
Hot take, I prefer, after watching this, Terrence Howard over Don Cheadle.
Well, he brings like a different flavor to the role, doesn't it?
Yeah, is more of the professional military friend, whereas I think Don Cheadle falls victim to the Marvel humor that sort of became a little bit, you know, formulaic.
Boom, you're looking for this?
Yeah. Like he's right behind me, isn't he? Like all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas Terrence, like, yeah, there's elements of that, but like he plays counter to Robert Downey Jr.'s charm, and he doesn't just become a copy, which is what I think Don Cheadle sort of went down. Which one do you prefer, Don or Terrence Howard?
I like them both equally, but separately. I don't know. Sure. I just no. I think they both bring a different flavor. So I think that with Don Cheadle, his performance as Rhodey, he definitely feels like he takes a step back with the future movies, but he also is given a lot more to do because he actually becomes the War Machine, I guess.
Yeah.
And he does also. He challenges Tony a lot in future movies as well with like his thinking and what he's doing, where Rhodey in this movie feels like Terrence Howard's just like, oh, Tony, you son of a bitch, you're making me look like an idiot, but also I'm like the top of the food chain with the military here, so everyone's just going to listen to me, so I also don't really care. That's actually pretty funny, or that's pretty cool, Tony. And then there's like even the scene where they're on the private jet and he's like getting drunk and just like talking shit with Tony, and I was like, you know what, that's actually like, it's really cool. He feels like he's a bit more of a pal and a friend and a little bit looser, if that makes sense, or he almost like he understands and isn't salty about Tony being an unpredictable guy. I don't know.
Well,
what do you
get like with their friendship, but he still has a job to do. Like, for example, I think you just brought it up, the scene where he's rousing on Tony for being late to his private jet, and then the next minute they're dancing with strippers and they're drunk together. Like that's that, and none of those two moments feel in opposition to each other. You feel he is genuinely pissed off that he had to wait 3 hours, which he would be. But it's still like, you know, very professional, and then the next second you're reminded that they are friends. By the way, while we're talking about the start of this movie, can we talk about the start of this movie?
Can we talk about the movie? Can we talk about the plot of the movie?
Can we talk about Iron Man 1 2008? Dude, There's the start of this movie. I forgot how good it was because you, within 20 minutes, get a very clear idea that this guy is an asshole. Like a cool asshole, but he is.
Oh yeah.
He is exactly who Elon Musk thinks he is. Like he is just a dick in this from the rip. Like I feel every hero's journey has a moment, especially superhero origin stories, where there's a call to action. Basically, it's just making a character give a fuck, you know? I've never seen a superhero movie up until this point. I've never seen a superhero give a fuck quicker, or at least more dramatically, because he's at the start of this, he is genuinely, I mean, he might be charismatic, but he's genuinely a villain. He is a horrible weapons manufacturer, sinking money on piss strippers and you know, whatever else. And then, you know, he does go through a torture. This is not saying anything bad. This is actually a testament to the movie. Within like 20 minutes, we have him, a very noble hero, breaking out of the 10 Rings Middle East encampment, coming back and destroying his weapons manufacturing arc of his business. I think that's all done spectacularly.
Yeah, I think what a lot of either superhero movies or just like hero's journey kind of movies try and do is they'll have a big impactful moment or something that really shakes the hero. It's their wake up moment, so to speak, like whether it's someone close to them dying or, you know, they kind of fuck up in some kind of way. And I feel like a lot of the time it does, you got to be careful with how you go about doing that. And it's really easy for it to feel forced or very heavy-handed, but in this movie you just buy it the whole way. Like him just being a douchebag at the start, and then, you know, basically we see his life as this douchebag and how like everyone just fucking loves him, and he just kind of walks his way, he glides his way through life so easily. Like you said, like within 15-20 minutes he is thrown to basically just rock bottom in this cave, and he's trying to claw his way out. And it's, you know, not because he's just this rich douchebag. No, it's because he's actually really fucking smart, and he actually like knows what he's talking about. And you see he's getting humbled, and he's growing this bond with, God, I keep forgetting the guy's name. Yinsen. And obviously, like, you know, that guy dies, which is a shame. But I think that seeing how much that shakes Tony, and then obviously him, how he instantly comes out of that cave and he's just like, I got to change this ship. I am literally responsible for so many deaths, and I've seen firsthand what this impact is. I got to do right by the world. I got to change what Stark Industries is all about. He has this traumatic experience at the start of the movie, which sets him on this path for the rest of the movie, and it's just all believable. It's really satisfying seeing someone go from basically a massive douchebag to what he ends up being throughout, you know, the second and third act of this movie. So yeah, I thought it was an incredibly satisfying experience, and it helps as well that, well, I was going to say the writing is really good, but like you said, apparently a lot of it was improvised. But just a lot of the lines, this movie has some really great lines as well. Yeah, like there's like the reporter lady at the start. She's just like, oh, you've been called the Da Vinci of our time. What do you say to that? And he's like, absolutely ridiculous. I don't paint. And just, he's just so quick.
What about the Merchant of Death? That one's better. Like that stuff. Yeah. You can see, especially in like one-on-one character scenes, like some stuff with Gwyneth Paltrow and Robert Downey Jr., you can see the improv there. I think that one is just too clean. It must have been written. That one must have been, or like on the day, they were like, oh, say it like this and do it like that. Yeah. But there are some scenes where you're like, you can see the other actors just almost reel back or caught off guard with how quippy Robert Downey Jr. naturally is. And I think that serves the character better, because Iron Man, Tony Stark, should have that presence in the universe. So I think it all works.
Yeah, he's like verbally disarming people, but just like shock. He's just like, oh, I didn't realize that you were going to say that or whatever.
Yeah, like, it's just, no, this movie is Robert Downey Jr. doing Robert Downey Jr. stuff for quite a while, and I'm eating it up. It's so good.
Fucking earth, dude. I felt like there's like one line where I was like, this is such just either a Robert Downey Jr. ism or a Tony Stark ism, where he like walks up to the bar, he's like, give me a scotch, I'm starving. And I'm just like, okay, that's pretty
that's
funny.
Great. That's great. I'm going to use that in my real life. Yeah. You're forgetting the coolest thing about the intro of this movie, by the way.
Oh no.
Oh my god, I'm driving my dog crazy. Okay, maybe I shouldn't do that.
Well,
do a great.
That's enough to get us demonetized. Anyway,
no, I didn't do it that good.
I'm sorry. Could AC/DC's Back in Black stop playing because that was damn near identical?
It's the Australian in me.
Could you stop playing them in the background, please?
But no, I do like how he's sort of like a little rocky sort of guy. Like he's playing some rock when he's doing his engineering stuff. Like I like that element of this character. It gives him sort of like I don't know. I relate. I'm like, oh, I listen to rock music. Like I do that a little bit. So let's hit it.
Maybe that's what Elon Musk thinks as well. Like, I listen to slightly.
That was not a good Elon Musk impression.
No, I can't even begin to try and do it. But
I'm gonna name my child numbers. I do actually have something that I do really love about this movie. That we're just glazing this movie. Yeah, we're just glazing this movie. It's the Mark I suit. I forgot how great and mechanical that felt. It feels heavy.
Yeah.
Like him getting his arm stuck in the wall and shit. It's just,
yeah.
It's such a nice, it really gives the idea that this is a real thing. Like he's having troubles with it. He's obviously built it in a cave. But the Mark I suit is a forgotten relic to time, because when you think about Iron Man suits, you think about, like Mark 42 or like, whatever, all these nanotech suits and shit. I think after watching this one, I love that Mark I suit.
Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head with it feeling physical and real, because I think a lot of the CGI in this movie also holds up incredibly well. Like considering this is a 17-year-old movie, a lot of the suits in this movie felt practical, and oh man, the suit up scenes. There's like one particular suit up scene. I think it's when it's like his final suit and he's about to fly off to Gamera. I just think that looked incredible. You're saying that you love the Mark I suit. I love the finished Iron Man suit, but full silver, like before.
That's great.
Oh my god, it was just but
by the way, you said it's a 17-year-old movie. It's a 22-year-old movie.
No. Just think a little bit.
Hold on.
Just think a little bit.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
It's an 18-year-old movie.
Yeah. Oh well, I mean, I guess if you want to be technical, it would be turning 18 this year. Yeah.
No, wait. You keep talking about the suit. I'm doing some maths.
No. Well, I mean, I already said what I wanted to say, so I'm just going to leave it.
Okay. 2026 minus 2008. 18. I did say 22, didn't I?
You did. Yeah, that's okay.
Editor, cut this out.
Jarvis, cut this out.
Jarvis, erase this whole thing. Erase the entire pod. No, the suits in this are great. I do love the hot rod. I know you love the silver look. It is really nice. I also love the Ironmonger suit. I love the reveal of the Ironmonger suit from behind the chains as Gwyneth Paltrow, Pepper Potts is. I think it's great because it does look like what a capitalist tech bro sort of guy would be like. Well, I got to make a better version. Add more shit, like just make it bigger. That it does feel like what a character like Obadiah Stane would consider an improvement on Tony Stark's designs, when in reality, like, he hasn't considered shit like, will this freeze up in upper atmosphere, blah 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 blah. I don't know. I love the energy between Obadiah Stane and Tony Stark, but also just how that moves in their actions throughout the movie. Because I'm an Obadiah Stane Acts 3 apologist. Like, I think that made perfect sense. We've talked about this before, but you don't think it makes sense how he goes full supervillain. I think it makes perfect sense considering this guy already tried to kill Tony Stark once via emails. Like he was emailing, he was Epstein listing a murder of his mentee. Then he goes out to the Middle East to the 10 Rings guys, and when that plan is threatened, he wipes them all out. So I think it makes perfect sense for Pepper Potts has told 5 SHIELD agents, and she has a USB with all the evidence that I tried to kill Tony. I'm just gonna kill all of them and then figure it out later with my wealth and resources and everything. It's a dump and burn, kill all witnesses, move on, similar to what he did to the 10 Rings in the Middle East. He was already doing the same shit, but this time he just has a giant suit.
Let me correct you where you're wrong, which is basically that whole thesis. So I don't think that his supervillainy comes out of nowhere. I think that if anything, I actually really enjoyed when it was more subtle towards the first half of the movie, because you can tell he's bad, but he was bad in that CEO kind of executive
Swami
kind of way. Yeah, and then there's just one point in the movie where basically he is hosting this Tony Stark event without Tony. He doesn't invite him. Tony shows up, and then he literally just point blank says to Tony's face that he was the one who filed the injunction against Tony. And I'm just like, I don't think
that's just corporate moves. I've been watching too much Succession lately.
A corporate guy would do that in real life. And then after that point,
have you watched Succession, brother?
Well, after that point, it's from then that he's basically just like, all right, we're seeing more of the side of him in the film where he's actually like, you know, killing people or whatever. I didn't have a problem with that. And I thought that he played it off really well. It's just that one particular scene on the stairs where he basically just admits that, yeah, I'm actively trying to ruin you and stop you and all this stuff. I just don't think someone like him, who is so cautious about his actions, would just blatantly say that to Tony. That's the only issue I had.
I see where you're coming from. I still see it as like, at that point, he's still being business professional. Like at that point, like he has opposed Tony. For example, like when Tony first at that meeting goes like, we're cutting our weapons infrastructure, like we're not doing that anymore. He immediately, as the camera pans back over to like Stark Industries, as you're moving away from that scene, he's still very much going like, no, ignore that. Like, no, we're good. Like even in the scene where is him, Pepper Potts and Tony eating pizza is still very much like, we're voting again, you know, like, you're not there, you're not at these meetings, you're not at these things. Like, all right, you go back down to your thing, but no more pizza. Like, I understand that it is quite a jump, but I still see it as like he's still being business professional before he goes murderbot. That's what you would sort of do. You'll be like, hey man, like I did it. Like I'm taking control of this shit. You because that's his whole goal. He's gonna have to pull that pin at some point.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like it.
That's interesting.
And I could have watched 10 more movies. I could have watched 10 more movies of Obadiah Stane. This made me miss Obadiah Stane in a way that I never knew I had yearning for this man before.
Well, there you go. We've learned something about this movie.
Yeah.
It's interesting how you can watch a film and take away something new from it each time you watch it.
Yeah.
And this time you took away that you yearn for the segue.
Oh, talking about yearning, I never thought I was attracted to Gwyneth Paltrow until that I rewatched that scene where they kiss on the rooftop, or they almost kiss on the rooftop at the party.
Yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
I might buy some of her vagina candles. I never in my life have been attracted to Gwyneth Paltrow. I've never found her engaging like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that you know, typically, I think that with Gwyneth Paltrow, I'm not the biggest fan of her. I feel like she's a bit of like a charisma black hole, but I feel like in this movie, he actually works so well, or just the MCU as a whole. Her playing Pepper Potts, I think that she actually nails the performance of that character, and I couldn't think of anyone else who could play that character. And I think that the charisma between her and Tony Stark or Robert Downey Jr., I think that like you can really feel it, and this movie kind of plays a little bit more into that like, ooh, will they, won't they kind of thing. And I think that that's really interesting. So yeah, I really enjoyed seeing their dynamic grow in this movie.
Well, I mean, unless you got anything else to say, let's hit some last thoughts. Lennon, what are your, I mean, we've sort of been peppering them in, but what do you think of this movie?
Oh boy. Well, I don't know if you can tell. I really enjoyed this movie. There's so many great things about it, and I think that it holds up incredibly well considering it's an 18-year-old movie by this point, 17, 18-year-old movie. It has some really iconic scenes as well. I think, like I touched on before, the first Iron Man suit up scene, like the proper one, I thought that was really great. I thought the humor also held up exceptionally well. The MCU was known for being like really quippy, and I think that there's a lot of like Joss Whedonisms that come into like Avengers 1 and 2, whereas I think that the humor actually works incredibly well in this movie.
It's just dripping charisma. It's Robert Downey Jr. just dripping.
So good. And I also just love how, you know, basically this movie ends with him essentially just going, fuck it, I am Iron Man. And then, you know, the literal song Iron Man starts playing. And I just thought that was a really, oh shit, like an incredible moment, because up until this point, I think a lot of the movies, or most of the movies that we've seen that involve superheroes, it's all about them having a secret identity and all that stuff. And this really just goes against the trend. And it's just like, you know what, fuck it. Like everyone's going to know that Tony Stark is Iron Man. And I just think that was just so cool.
That's a big thing in the comics too, is like Iron Man for ages was known as Tony Stark's bodyguard. God. And they sort of have like a second of that as he's trying to like worm his way out of admitting that he's Iron Man. I'm happy that this is a superhero without like a Peter Parker, Spider-Man sort of dynamic.
Yeah, I really like it. And I think as well, because this movie obviously does set some things up, but I think that it actually does such a great job at including characters like, S.H.I.E.L.D. and Coulson and all that stuff, where it is expanding on this world without it feeling forced, like a fucking character trailer scene from an email in Batman vs. Superman. Like, it actually
What, a PowerPoint presentation
works.
Isn't the best way to hint at your shared universe? No,
Jason
I'll
Momoa
agree.
floating in front of the camera doesn't work for you?
No, I'll agree. Like, everything with Phil Coulson in this movie is great because you can tell he's obviously there to set up the Avengers, but he gets wrapped up in this plot. Like, it's not like it doesn't take away from everything. Like, there's literally that scene with Pepper Potts where she's like trying to escape from Stane's office after stealing the USB with all the info on it, and it's just like she uses him actually in that scene to be like, oh no, walk with me, talk with me, like da 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 da. Okay, agent, and then his agents obviously get involved in the final fight, but like none of it's like, oh, we need to take away from this active plot that's happening to explain to you what the Avengers Initiative is, and it's like, okay, that might happen in a movie these days. So yeah, you hit the nail on the head with that.
Yeah.
I think.
But yeah, overall, I really like it.
Nice. Yeah, I think all that's to be said has been said. It makes sense as to why everyone was like, okay, well, shit, we got to start pumping out some more of these, start hinting towards a shared universe and da 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 da. It also makes sense about some of the critiques that we'll probably face in the following movies because it does set a precedence of Marvel humor. Like, it's done well here, but you can see why Marvel were like, oh, there's a formula. There's something to this. There's something that we can strip into a rinse and repeat situation devoid of any creativity or love. I love this movie though. All right, well, last thoughts on that. Let's talk about something that happens after the movie, the post-credit scene. Does this pay off? For a reminder, this is Nick Fury telling Tony that it is a part of a bigger universe and he wants to chat about the Avengers Initiative. Does this pay off?
Yeah, I mean, of course. I guess broadly, and maybe just alluding to the rest of this series that we're doing, because we are going through each movie in release order from the Infinity Saga. I think after the Infinity Saga, a lot of the post-credit scenes really feel like they're just thrown in there for the sake of teasing something
that's what I'm interested to see with this series. I want to see if because that's what people give a lot of flack to phases 4 and 5 is like, that didn't pay off, that didn't pay off. I would be interested to see how many of these post-credit scenes through this Infinity Saga do and don't pay off. I think we're going to find a lot of them do, but
yeah, well, I think this movie came out in 2008 and the Avengers came out in 2012, but I think it almost felt like it was paid off immediately because, even looking at Iron Man 2, there's a big S.H.I.E.L.D. element, Tony Stark, Phil Coulson, all that stuff, where they're starting to like worm their way into the actual movie itself. So even though it's not being directly solved in the subsequent movies immediately, it is being thrown in there a little bit more. So you feel like, okay, no, I can actually see the natural progression of this build-up.
Yeah.
So I definitely think it gets paid off.
Yeah, and also not even just that, like it's he says, let's talk about the Avengers Initiative. And then the next couple of movies we get is introducing new heroes. So even just by the nature of that, you're like, okay, well, yeah, we're building something. Also, Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So
casting.
nice. So nice.
And I think it's such a bold move as well, having someone of that caliber relegated to a post-credit scene, which, back then wasn't a known
Some
thing.
People didn't
so
even
the
stick
fact
around.
that he's just introduced in this capacity, I think is super badass.
Yeah, it's a risk that I feel like the modern Marvel universe doesn't really like to take, which ironically is why they're not doing shit like Crash Hot.
Yeah.
Anyway, next week we are looking at a movie that was only released a month after this one. We are looking at The Incredible Hulk. So thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll catch you
boy.
there. Oh boy.
Can't wait.
We're two angry boys talking about an angry boy movie.
You won't like me when I'm upset. I'm Edward Norton. I'm upset.
I'm a little cranky. All right,
look at me. I've got big purple pants. I'm referencing the Hulk.